Okay, welcome. We're going to reconvene into the finance meeting to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. We came out of executive session at 7:15. I'll make a motion to adjourn from finance now.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I'd like to call the February 12th, 2024 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the pledge, please.
Take your chair with you.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
DeSalvo.
Here.
Hare. Hazeltine.
Present.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here,
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here. Reading of the minutes,
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of January 22nd of 2024 as prepared and submitted by the clerk be approved.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council this evening and will meet again in 2 weeks to discuss all the items on the agenda. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Have no meeting scheduled, although the mayor and I are attending the quarterly LST advisory meeting this coming Thursday.
Thank you. Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no update this evening.
Special Legislation, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Harrison here. Water and Utilities, Ms. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing new to report and no meeting scheduled at this time.
Emerging Technologies, Mrs. Salvo.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a meeting on this past Thursday, February 8th. I want to thank the community members that attended. That's Ariel Bly, Craig Komar, Bob Mueller, Rick Kirby, and then a new member joined us, Todd Bauer. They discussed the website recommendations that are ongoing to update the city website. The municipal court website is up and running, the new version of that. Sergeant Zaramba let us know that the charging stations are up and running and available to the public with their debit card. We discussed the how the police are going to how the upcoming eclipse is going to impact what they're going to be doing, impact to the city and the police department, and I believe they got the new body cameras for the cars, and the police officers have been implemented. And there's another meeting not scheduled yet. I'll let you know when that is. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just to clarify, there are electrical charging stations in the parking deck off of City Hall. I think there is a space for 4 cars to charge, and you use debit cards to get the plug in, and you could charge your car there. Okay. Request for council action. We have several. For Health, Safety, and Sanitation, we have 2430 amend Code Ordinance 94106B residential sanitation rates. For the Finance Committee, we have 2424 then and now for Deductible Recovery Group Law Department, 2425 a 2024 contribution to the SPCA, 2426 increase PO 24 759 Huntington Bank for the Police Department, 2427 expenditure over $20,000 for M&J Technologies, the IT Department, 2428 expenditure over $20,000 for Dex Imaging IT Department, 2429 amend code new section 12905 for the police jurisdiction outside municipal limits. 2431 amend salaries and benefits 3105 step pay scale modifications municipal court. 2432 lease with Lake Business Products municipal court desk printers. 2433 purchase one 2024 F-250 pickup truck for service. 2434 bids of a 2024 equipment and general pavement services. 2435 expenditure over $20,000 Chippewa roofing water department. 2436 amend sex offender policy MCRC. 2437 agreement with MS Consultants Prospect Street Bridge replacement. 2438, amend ordinance 18922, Fire Station Number 1 parking lot. 2439, expenditure over 20,000, New Harris P25 radio system, Police Department. 2440, transfer request, Railroad Fund. 2441, transfer request, MCRC Capital. 2442, budget amendment. 2443, agreement with National Engineering and Architectural Services Prospect Street Bridge. 2444, expenditure for KTS Equipment Parks Department. 2445, cooperative purchase Roscoe Ewing Playground replacement for the parks. 2446, 2023 carry forward. 2447, amend 3107, revise administrative office job description. And finally, 2448, FAA grant application, snow removal equipment at the airport. There's a lot of things we're gonna have to be doing there. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since we last met on January 24th at 6 p.m., I attended the Main Street Medina Annual Awards along with Council at Large Natalie DeSalvo. The City of Medina was awarded the Partnership of the Year award, and Barbara DeZur, our marketing director for the city, was also awarded the Community Spirit of the Year award. Congratulations to Barbara. The 30th Annual Medina Ice Festival by Elegant Ice will be held on our square in our historic district, starting February 16th through the President's Day holiday, February 19th. And I wanted to give council and the residents information. The Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency, or NOACA, will be mailing out travel surveys to randomly selected participants in the 5-county region, including Medina County. Those selected are encouraged to participate. And then there are 2 Black History Month celebrations coming up. Fellowship Baptist Church on Thursday, February 15th at 7 p.m., and that's located at West Liberty Street and Branch Road, are going to have their Black History Month celebration. And then a week from then, February 22nd at 7 p.m., Second Baptist Church on Bronson Street will also have a Black History Month celebration. And I also want to mention congratulations to Pastor Arthur Ruffin from Second Baptist, as he was selected one of Greater Cleveland's difference makers in recognition of Black History Month. He was one of 10 selected out of 42 nominations, and the only one for this region. So congratulations to Pastor Ruffin. And then second to last, I would like to invite up Tom Jenkins for a proclamation recognizing his 30 years of service representing the City of Medina on the Medina County Health Board. Thank you. So this is a City of Medina proclamation in recognition of Tom Jenkins. Whereas the City of Medina recognizes and values the dedicated individuals who contribute their time, expertise, and passion to the well-being of our community. And whereas it is with great pleasure and gratitude that we acknowledge Tom Jenkins for his outstanding commitment and service as a member of the Medina County Board of Health for the past 30 years. And whereas Tom Jenkins has tirelessly worked to enhance the health and quality of life for the residents of our city, demonstrating exceptional leadership, knowledge, and compassion throughout his tenure. And whereas Tom Jenkins has played a crucial role in the development and implementation of health policies, programs, and initiatives that have positively impacted the overall health and welfare of our community. And whereas Tom Jenkins has consistently shown an understanding of public health issues, contributing valuable insights and expertise to the Board of Health's decision-making processes. And whereas his unwavering dedication and selfless service have inspired others to follow in his footsteps and contribute to the betterment of our community. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Hanwell, Mayor of the City of Medina, do hereby proclaim and commend Tom Jenkins for his 30 years of exceptional service on the Board of Health. We express our deepest gratitude for your tireless efforts, leadership, and commitment to promoting the health and well-being of our citizens. And Tom, I present this to you on behalf of the City of Medina today.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
It's been a short 30 years, and I will say that I think the board has accomplished a whole lot in 30 years. And we've come a long, long way. When I was on the board, when we started, we were in Northland. Everybody remembers that. It's a little hole in the wall. And now we have the new facility, which is now 20 years old, but it's all been great. I've met a lot of great people along the way. It's been good, and we're moving because of my grandkids. We want to go see the grandkids down in Cincinnati. So it's been great. Appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless. Okay, and now, last but not least, I'd like to introduce Main Street Medina Executive Director George Sam for a 2023 year in review.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to mention that I'm going to go through this very briefly because I know you have a busy evening tonight, but I want to thank the mayor, I want to thank council, Mr. President, and all of your staff for all the stuff you do for Main Street Medina and the city of Medina throughout the year in 2023. Looking forward to a great year in 24. This is our 2023 year in review. I sent materials out, so I'm not going to go over every detail. Our mission and our vision is on your packets that you received earlier. You can go ahead, Jared. Our strategic goal is the same thing. We can review those later if you'd like. Our financial report is basically saying that we spend about $340,000 and we make about $340,000 every year. About that amount gets brought in from the community and goes out back to the community. You see our net profit is very minimal. We'd really like to do the projects that the community needs, and we don't make a lot of money on it. So every bit of support we get from the community is really needed and used. So thank you all very much for that. As you know, we have sponsored events throughout the year, most known as the Farmers Market, 35 events in all, 21 farmers markets. We estimate that we pull in about 193 some visitors every year and increases every year. We're proud to say that we keep promoting Medina through our website and Facebook page. Those numbers keep increasing. We're very proud of our volunteers. We reported 2,663 volunteer hours this year, and you can see that translates into dollars when it comes down to the work per hour. That's kind of a rate that's the standard among volunteerism. Donor support, we pulled in, like I said, about $308,000 in donor support from the community, which translate to a 10.29 to 1 return on the investment that the city gives us of $30,000. So again, we thank you for that. And we have 203 members. Most of them are small businesses. Families and individuals really help make Main Street Medina what it is. And we hope that the economic impact continues to increase. But based on $20, if a person comes in and spends $20 an hour a day at businesses in Medina, it's a $3.88 million economic impact to the city. You know our signature events. The Farmers Market's very popular, and those are going to continue thanks to Angela. Angela's our events director guru, so we appreciate having her on board. Kids Day and Teen Fest will happen again in June this year. Southtown Music Festival, we're in our 3rd year this year, and that seems to be growing in Southtown. The Medina Fall Festival was new last year. It seemed to be very popular, so we're hoping that continues and will grow this year. And of course, Candlelight Walk, we're going to be celebrating the 40th anniversary Candlelight Walk this coming year, so we're looking forward to a big year this next year. Ladies' Night Outs, we do 4 of those a year. Those are very popular, and they're growing in popularity, so we're very happy that those events happen on a Thursday evening and bring a lot of people into town. The same thing with Cars and Coffee. They've become very popular for Sunday morning, so more businesses seem to be opening and people really enjoy those events. Medina Beer Fest is going to be happening on April 27th this year. It's a fundraiser for us, so I hope you can all make it. We do other fundraising events. We have a scholarship program now. We do a golf outing every year. We get matching grants for that. We're going to be giving out our first set of scholarships this year. In Southtown, we do some streetscape design stuff throughout the community, but we focused on Southtown with fall flower pots. With the flower pots in Southtown. We got a grant this year to do self-watering flower pots, so we have more than we had before. I think we have 33 in total. We've also done the fall flower pot project, which kind of brings a little bit of fall to the baskets once the flowers are moved around the square. We also do some facade designs. We had Cindy Allman do some designs for us. Mark's Cleaning came to us and said they want to do facade improvement. Cindy did a nice set of drawings for them, as well as RISTech. They said they want their building to get a fresh coat of paint, so we gave them some color scheme ideas for that. These are things we offer the community. Southtown Design Plan, this is something we're going to be bringing to your attention at the next meeting. We created a grant, Main Street Medina hired somebody with our funds to come in and take what the city has created through the comprehensive plan and the plans for Southtown, and we went a step further and developed a series of plans through that. We had stakeholders meetings and public input, and now we're ready to show the plan to the city of Medina. Economic vitality is an area that we want to keep increasing with. We go to the ribbon cuttings, and we're really trying to improve the Shop Small Business Saturday event to make that bigger and bigger every year. I am pleased to say that we're going to be doing more economic vitality projects this year. We just contracted to use a program called Placer AI, which will give us the ability to do actual counts for events. So we'll know how many people are coming at our events, where they're coming from, and where they're going before and after our events. So we'll be able to tell which stores are benefiting from the events that we hold, and would be able to share that retail information with the businesses in the city. Our outgoing board members, we wanted to thank those folks that you see up there. And the incoming board is in our 2024 presentation. As you can see, we have Matt Legal, who's become our new vice chair. We have Sam Custer as a new board member, Tracy Ruffin, Easton Saltzman, and we have ex officios Jake Emling, which will be the farmers market representative, and Kevin Hutchinson will add to our ex officio board. The board of directors will continue to do the things that you see on that board as their work plans. And the promotions committee will continue to have its signature events that you see listed there, and all the dates are listed there. Our partnership events, we work with Restaurant Group to do Restaurant Week. We work with Peggy to do the Ice Festival and help promote that. The city school system to do the Student Art Show, the upcoming Solar Eclipse, Pride Day, and Juneteenth are all our partnership events. Fundraising events, we just had annual meeting and casino night. Thank you for a great night there. Beer Fest coming up, as I mentioned, the scholarship golf outing in the fall, and our annual appeal at the end of the year. They also maintain and recruit members, and we train and recruit volunteers. The Economic Vitality Committee supports businesses through surveys, workshops, marketing, and resources. We provide entrepreneurial support, welcoming new businesses, trying to match businesses with vacancies. Kimberly and I work very close together at trying to connect people. So that's something that I'm very proud of, our relationship with the city staff. Seeking transit opportunities, we talk a lot about developing transit options, so that's another thing that we've talked about with the Economic Vitality Committee. Design Committee, like I said, we're developing a Southtown District Plan. Those 3 focus areas are something you'll be hearing about in the next couple weeks. We're continuing to research public art in Southtown. We just got a $5,000 grant we'll be matching to look at public art and how that could look in Medina, so we'll be presenting that to you as well when that is completed. We're also going to seek funding for facade design and rehab program through state and federal programs, so we'll let you know more about that. And we're always looking to improve the historic district streetscape by maybe recommending things like amenities and signage to enhance visitor experience. And then, as Andrew knows, we also put a document together that assesses anything that the design committee has noticed that's kind of needs improvement, sidewalk breaking, bricks falling off, things in disrepair. We try to look for those things to help to share with the city as well. Thank you so much for your continued support. I know it's a really fast, brief presentation, but I know you have a busy night, so thank you again very much. Does anyone have questions for us?
Denny?
George and Angela, I just want to thank you and your extended family for everything that you do for our community. It doesn't go unnoticed, believe me. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you for everything you guys do, and we hope for a great 2024.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few things on the agenda. It started with finance. We'll talk about those. Remind all residents that the city has an income tax. It's with RITA, and you can file online or get the information from rita-ohio.com.
Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. I don't know if this is on. Thank you, Mr. President. Our next ribbon cutting event is actually this Friday for the Medina Rec Center Fitness Room Addition and Leisure Pool. These were projects as a result of the capital bill funding from a couple years ago. So that event will be this Friday at 1 o'clock at the Rec Center, 855 Weymouth Road, and I think Jansen is planning to have balloons, cake, and ice cream or something, right?
I was gonna say he's claiming, what?
Anyways, we hope that the public will be able to join us as well as council, and then I think the Medina City schools and school board and whatnot will be there as well, so, thank you.
Thank you. Lieutenant Markham, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Toth, LST Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. The life support team completed 2023 with 3,522 ambulance calls for the city of Medina. For all three entities, we had 5,359 calls. And through January of this year, we have 307 calls for the city of Medina, and all three entities, we had 478 calls. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. The building department is off to an excellent fast-paced start of the year. Since the first of the year, the department issued 10 commercial construction plan approvals. They include housing, retail, restaurants, office, education, manufacturing, distribution, building supplies, and warehousing. Construction valued at $36.5 million. That ends my report.
Thank you. Mr. Bacoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Service Department's been able to catch up on a lot of tasks and functions that we've not been able to do in the previous winter. It's been a great winter. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's not over, but it's been a great winter. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll echo what Nino said about a good winter. We've had a pretty productive winter so far in the Parks Department. I wanted to share a project that we just completed. Back in 2022, we engaged American Ramp Company to upgrade our skate park. We did a community engagement survey where we listened to residents. There were 207 skate park users that took a survey and helped develop the design that's there on the TV. I just wanted to thank council for the opportunity to use ARPA funds to bring this amenity, new life back to this amenity. It was originally built about 15 or so years ago through a grassroots effort with some support from local foundations. The total project cost there was roughly $284,000, and there's been kids out there almost every single day after school.
Well, that one didn't do so well.
Secondly, I wanted to share some news from the rec center. This past weekend, we completed our second annual indoor triathlon. For those that don't know how you do an indoor triathlon, you have volunteers that count laps and mileage on the cycles. So we had 71 participants, and 11 of them were kids this year because we expanded to do youth triathlon. So it was another successful event, and I appreciate the staff's help and all the volunteers that assisted to make it possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Walters, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Dutton, the Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Notices, communications, and petitions, there are none. There's no unfinished business. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during a portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. There's still fun stuff to happen here tonight.
It was
guys.
something you said, John.
No,
It was you, John.
Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair, but a vote of the majority of council members present. At this time, we have a presentation by Denise Testa, Director of Medina County Fair Housing Office, and then I'll ask if anybody else would like to address council. Denise?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about fair housing. It's a initiative that has become a big part of not only my personal life, but also my professional life. And I've had the pleasure of working with quite a few individuals from Medina, the city of Medina, and it's been a very good experience for me. So as we look, we are going to be celebrating Fair Housing Month in April of 2024. So be sure and keep your eyes out. We haven't solidified those plans just yet, but that is coming here in the near future. We can go on to the next slide. So fair housing essentially protects from discrimination when renting or buying a home, getting a mortgage, seeking housing assistance, or engaging in other housing-related activities. Those protected classes were listed on the PowerPoint, but we can go ahead and move forward. You're good. It's all good. First time working together, so we'll give you some grace here. So our office is located, we actually represent the entire county, including the city of Medina, the townships, the villages. So again, it's a great honor to be able to represent you and your community. We are located at the County Administration Building, and we offer free customized fair housing services for landlords and tenants. So we support tenants' rights to obtain housing. We provide information on landlord and tenant rights and responsibilities. We analyze and develop customized client plans, and we meet clients where they are. I will meet with them through text, through email, online, or in person, wherever they are most comfortable. We also educate our communities about local resources and offer workshops similar to this. We can go ahead and move on. So as we are working with tenant, the majority of our phone calls or inquiries are usually landlord-tenant conflicts. And the majority of those conflicts are repairs to rentals. So as we are advising our clients, when moving forward, we recommend that they submit in writing all documents and all communication with the landlord. They also, the landlord essentially has a 30-day time frame to make those repairs as long as it's not an emergency. And we recommend taking and documenting photos of those needed repairs. The options if the repair is not completed in those 30 days is the tenant can place their rent in escrow, and I actually recently met with Medina Municipal Court as well as Wadsworth Municipal Court, and we can advise them on that process. That's actually a process that is not taken advantage of very often. In fact, I don't believe Medina has had an escrow case recently within the last 3 to 5 years. So that's something that I think we might want to increase our education on. The tenant can also terminate their lease, but we always recommend that they do obtain legal counsel before they make that decision, and they can also contact my office as well. We can go ahead and go on to the next slide. So our tips for renters as we look at different items. Providing relevant paperwork, such as an application, references from previous landlords, employers, copy of your current credit score will also be helpful. Reviewing the lease, understand all the conditions and ask questions. Obtain everything in writing. This avoids future conflicts and disputes. And if there is a verbal agreement or a conversation, we recommend that they follow up with an email confirming what was discussed. They also are required to give a 24-hour notice before entering the tenant's unit unless it is an emergency. And again, always request repairs in writing. We can go ahead and move on. Thank you. So tenant responsibilities, according to the Ohio Bar Association, we do want you to pay your rent on time and in its entirety. If you decide to put your rent in escrow, I recommend, again, getting legal counsel or coming to speak with my office. Keep property safe, sanitary, and clean. Keep plumbing fixtures clean and free-flowing. Make sure that your appliances are working, and allow the landlord 24 hours to inspect, giving immediate access to the landlord in case of an emergency, but also the landlord should give you 24-hour notice if they intend to enter your unit. Notify the landlord of needed repairs and comply with all housing, health, and safety codes. We can go on to the landlord responsibilities. So again, landlord responsibilities include complying with standards of all building, housing, health, and safety, make your repairs, keep all common areas safe and clean, maintain in good working condition all electrical, plumbing, sanitary, heating, and air conditioning and fixtures, supply running water. HVA or heat is required to be supplied, but not air conditioning, which during the summer months is unfortunate. Provide and maintain trash receptacles and provide trash removal. So we can go to the next. So many times as we are working with clients, if we determine that it is not a fair housing issue, and again, a landlord-tenant conflict is not necessarily a fair housing issue. However, we do believe in providing our residents with quality first-class service, and they always receive either a letter or an email from me directing them to the appropriate agency. And I will never turn away a resident from a meeting, because we know that when a tenant is in a crisis, whether it's fair housing or not, the worst thing I can do is send them to a website, and that is not our style. So our style is personalized, customized meetings and information that meet clients where they are at the time that they contact us. Next slide, please. We also have a financial empowerment center, again, that has received community development block grant money run by the United Way that in some cases is appropriate. So I'd like to put in a plug for the United Way and the financial coaching, which is just below Honeybee Bakery here in the square. Next slide, please. So our grant management. Again, we also manage a number of grants within the community, as well as these are offered through the city as well, such as the Community Development Block Grant, Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program, also known as CHIP. We also manage critical infrastructure grants and then offer comprehensive planning assistance. So one of those pictures up on the screen are actually of the Hinckley Historical Society. As part of one of our grants, we installed a lift for disabled individuals to enter the structure. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. If you have any questions or discussion items, please contact me directly at any time. Other than that, I will take any questions if there are. Hopefully I didn't take too much time. I felt like I kind of sped through that.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Denise, have you met our council president, John Coyne?
I have.
Say, John, are we taking notes?
Hey, I understand everything she's saying.
I know we have passed at some meetings, and it's always a pleasure.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wishes to address council at this time?
Good evening. My name is Amy Barnes. I live at 314 East Washington Street, Medina. in the Colonel H.G. Blake House, which is on the National Register of Historic Places, for being a part of the Underground Railroad and a history of sheltering those willing to fight oppression and outrageous laws. When I moved into this house, I did it with an open heart and with a sense of community. I gave free tours to thousands, created and handed out thousands of free booklets about the history of the house. I have endured 25 years of harassment tactics. This list is very long and includes paintballing the house, a local bar's beer mug smashed on the sidewalk, an attempt to blackmail me into selling part of the property, groundless anonymous complaints with every city department, attacks through social media, an attempt to kill one of my dogs, and trash thrown onto my property. This is a bag of glass shards recently thrown into my driveway. There also have been many high-pressure attempts to force me to sell the property to everyone from developers who want to demolish the house to one of the biggest drug dealers in this county. But I gave my word I would protect this property. With all of that harassment, imagine my surprise when Mr. Andrew Dutton from the city ordered me to remove my no trespassing and my hate has no home here signs. He said it was at the request of at-large Councilman Paul Rose, who had received a complaint about the signs. I explained to Mr. Dutton that the reasons for numerous signs include: 1, the police inform me they will not issue a trespassing citation on the first offense if there are no visible trespassing signs. 2, since this is an almost 1.5 acre corner lot, there is a lot of property frontage along 2 streets. Placing one sign at each end of the lot along each street as ordered leaves a lot of unmarked property. People have been seen kicking down and removing signs, even taking some to dance with on a local bar's patio. Because of this, decades ago, I took to the practice of having multiple signs posted on the property. Mr. Dutton said I had 2 weeks to remove the signs. In the meantime, I became very ill and was able to do much of anything for 3 weeks, and there was a snowstorm. I called Mr. Dutton to inform him I had faced delays. He said an official certified letter had been sent ordering me to remove the signs. Well, wouldn't you know? Just as the city was taking official action, that is the exact moment when, in the dark of night, my property was vandalized yet again. It seems someone was so vested in getting those signs down that they stole and destroyed more than half of them after they had been in place for months. But only the no trespassing, no hunting signs were touched. Now, isn't that something? I fail to see why it matters how many no trespassing signs are posted on private property. My signs were tidy and well presented. Numerous properties throughout Medina have several no trespassing, no hunting signs, but all of those remain in place. Should I feel special? Since I am allowed no more than 2 signs on each side of my property, and those have to be no trespassing signs for my safety, does that mean you have given yourselves the right to override the Constitution of the United States and restrict my freedom of speech and expression and my right to have other signs in my yard, such as political signs? I hope not, since you have already restricted my ability to defend myself peacefully. In honor of Colonel Blake and the House's legacy of rebellion, I invite all political candidates who are not Trump supporters to reach out to me to plant their campaign signs in the large empty lot beside the Colonel H.G. Blake House. I have 2 asks tonight. If there is such great concern over what is in my yard, then how about you start enforcing the no littering ordinance? Please consider this a registered complaint. I look forward to your quick assistance in this matter, as quick as it happened for me to be ordered to take my signs down. I am asking for a clear definition to be made by ordinance between kinds of signs and which ones the sign restriction ordinance applies to, since the ordinance makes no distinction between garage sale signs, political signs, religious signs, no trespassing, no hunting signs, or any others. All signs are just signs. The lack of a definition leaves the door open to the ordinance being used improperly and as a political weapon. Garage sale signs should be removed after the sale. No trespassing signs should never be limited nor removed since they concern safety and property rights. One last note. Since it would seem you are so wrapped up in how Medina looks to those outside the city, you may be interested to know this, that the great-great-great-grandson of Colonel H.G. Blake has reached out to me and expressed his outrage over the vandalism his family's history has endured. Now, isn't that something? Good night.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address council at this time? Okay. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2224, 2324, 2424, 2524, 2624, 2724, 2824, 2924, 3024, 3124, 3224, 3324, 3424, and 3524.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
I will make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the motion?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Ordinance 2224, an ordinance authorizing expenditure of $60,000 at Lake County Sewer Co. for street department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance will allow the street department to continue the efforts with cleaning, grouting, and repairing of our storm sewers with the ones that are presenting more of a challenge, such as depth and under pavement. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 2224 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 2324, an ordinance authorizing expenditure to Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company for the sanitation department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company is supplying tires and service at state bid pricing. Each truck, we have 14 trucks in sanitation, the entire fleet, and each truck uses about 20 tires per year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 2324 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 2424, an ordinance amending section 3102B7 and 3105 of the Salaries and Benefits Code of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to part-time communication officers for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Lieutenant Markham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an ordinance to amend the Salary and Benefits Code, which will allow us to keep part-time communication officers to use as needed to fill the schedule. The emergency clause is requested so we don't have an employment gap with the current part-time employee.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Coin.
No.
DeSalvo.
No.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion fails. 4 nays, 2 yeas.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
No.
Ordinance 2424 passes 5 yeas, 1 nay.
Ordinance 2524, an ordinance amending ordinance number 17923 passed November 13, 2023, relative to the expenditure to Green Home Solutions for rehabilitation work at 1244 Hadcock Road, Brunswick.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and the emergency clause. Mr. Dutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. In late 2022, we received $700,000 through our CHIP program in cooperation with the City of Brunswick. Both these ordinances 24 and 2624 deal with CHIP programs. More recently, we received $60,000 in addition for lead abatement program, or LAP. So what these ordinances are doing is just splitting previously approved CHIP projects between the regular CHIP funds and the CHIP lap funds. 2524 deals with 1244 Hadcock Road in Brunswick, splitting about $72,000 with $41,925 to CHIP funds and $30,000 to the CHIP lap funds. Emergency clause is requested as both these projects have been underway. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance and/or the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the emergency clause?
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
DeSalvo,
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 2524 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 2624, an ordinance amending ordinance number 324 passed January 8th, 2024, relative to the expenditure to Green Home Solutions for rehabilitation work at 850 North Huntington Street.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Dutton?
Thank you, Mr. President. As I noted, this is just splitting accounts between CHIP funds and CHIP lap funds. This project is at 850 North Huntington, and we're taking $25,575 from CHIP funds and $15,000 from the lead abatement funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the emergency clause?
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
DeSalvo,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
DeSalvo,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 2624 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 2724, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to solicit requests for qualifications, RFQs, requests for proposals, RFPs, for consultant services for the fiscal year 24 City of Medina Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program, CHIP, grant applications, including administration, implementation, and award RFQ, RFP to the successful bidder.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and emergency clause. Mr. Dutton?
Thank you, Mr. President. The last two ordinances were from our program year 22 CHIP program. This is the beginning phases of our program year 24 CHIP. This is to engage with the consultant to provide application administration for the 24 CHIP program. This is split between administration and fair housing. Fair housing will handle next. The emergency clause is requested as this is a very involved application requiring multiple public hearings and research, so we want to get it going as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance and/or emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Coin,
Yes.
DeSalvo,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
DeSalvo,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 2724 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 2824, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to solicit requests for qualifications, RFQs, requests for proposals, RFPs, for fair housing services for the fiscal year 24 City of Medina Community Housing Impact and Preservation CHIP program, applications to award the RFQ, RFP to the successful bidder.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
And discussion on the ordinance and emergency clause, Mr. Dutton?
Thank you, Mr. President. So with our program year 24 CHIP application, we need to have a consultant for fair housing already under contract. This will allow us to send out our RFQ, RFP for fair housing services for the 24 CHIP grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose,
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 2824 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 2924, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and award a contract to the successful bidder for a one-year supply of various kinds of maintenance materials needed for the streets and water lines, including but not limited to salt, the chemicals used in the treatment of water, and water meters to be used by various departments of the city of Medina, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. So our annual meter, our material bids, including some items like stone, concrete, our water meters, cold water meters, as you stated, fire hydrants, pipe, repair clamps, for our water system. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 2924 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 3024, an ordinance amending Chapter 1333 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to the adoption of the 2023 NFPA National Electrical Code.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Gladish.
Thank you, Mr. President. This coming March 1st, the State of Ohio Board of Building Standards will be adopting a newer version of the commercial building, mechanical, plumbing, and electric codes. As a state-certified department, we are mandated to follow, enforce the rules of the state. The electrical code will change from the 2017 to the 2023.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 3024 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 3124, an ordinance amending Chapter 1335 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to the adoption of the 2024 edition of the Ohio Building Code and related codes.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Gladish.
Same as the first, the building code and related codes will change from the 2017 to the 2024 codes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 3124 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 3224, an ordinance amending Chapter 1345 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to the adoption of the 2024 Ohio Plumbing Code.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Gladish.
Same as before, the plumbing code will change from the 2017 to the 2024. The last three ordinances will only change the commercial codes. The residential codes, which is currently the 2019, will remain.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 3224 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 3324, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation is incurred, sums were lawfully appropriated, and the funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause?
Discussion on the ordinance and emergency clause. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is, we passed the deductible on this claim and, from 2020, so we have to pay this. The emergency clause is because we're not aware of these costs until we get invoiced, so it's already been spent.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance or emergency clause? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption of the emergency clause.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 3324 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 3424, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make certain fund transfers.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are two transfers I'm asking you to approve tonight. The first one is $10,000. That's the city's share of the annual cost of the operation of the railroad that the city owns. And the second one is $130,000. That's per the agreement that we have with the school for the operations of the rec center for the building capital costs.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 3424 passes 6-0.
And finally, ordinance 3524, an ordinance amending ordinance number 19023, passed November 28, 2023, amendments to the 2024 budget.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a pass-through and amount received.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 3524 passes 6-0.
Council comments. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to congratulate Mr. Jenkins on his years of service. thank you for the update on the fair housing. Other than that, I would just like to remind everybody, the political season again is heating up. Doesn't matter what party or affiliation that you represent or represents you, you can do it with kindness. So just try to remember to be kind to one another. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everything that Denny said, of course, as always, totally correct. And also, for the Ice Festival this weekend, please remember the plethora of public parking that we have available to us, should you choose to use your legs and walk. Of course, if you are not able to walk, that's a different story, but most people. There are so many parking spots that I'm going to forget all of the public lots, so I need my fellow council members to remind me of the ones I'm forgetting. You can park at the Castle Noel lot. You can park in both city lots, or the City Hall parking lot and the parking lot over by the court. You can park in the Feckley lot. What's the other ones I'm forgetting? Napa. You park behind Napa, if you know where that is, behind the other side of South Court. I feel like I'm forgetting one. What's the other one I'm forgetting?
The Moose Lot,
The Moose lot. Thank you,
the
Mayor.
County Administration Lot,
See?
the Garfield School Lot.
The lot down there by Medina Supply, they just opened up.
The list goes on,
North
so
of the
please
track.
tell everyone you know that there is an ample amount of public parking for this weekend's festivities. That is all.
Thank you. Any further council comments? Mr. Rose?
Thank you, Mr. Point. Lieutenant Markham, got a question for you. We've got I'll call it a resident, just to be kind, who insists on throwing his or her beer cans out on Meadowlark Lane on a very, very regular basis. Last weekend, I went up and I picked up a couple dozen of cans, put them in a plastic bag. If I brought them to you, could you have them analyzed and
Oh
see
my
if we can find out who this candidate for San Francisco would be?
Candidate for San
I don't know about analyzing them, Mr. Rose, but we would definitely take a look at what you have and see what we can do to figure out who's doing it.
Thank you, because the neighbors are getting outraged. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further council comments? Just remember, Super Bowl's over now, so
That's right.
we can move on.
Go Taylor.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.